All right, let's talk Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, the Cowboys have been very active this offseason through free agency up to this point, at least compared to last year. There hasn't been a lot of headline grabbing news in terms of things that'll dominate the talking heads, whether it's on Fox Sports or ESPN, but it's just been a steady stream of solid decisions and acquisitions from the Dallas Cowboys. And today is just further proof of that. We're going to look at two moves in particular that were really smart that aren't getting the credit they deserve. We'll break it down in just a second. But first, I'm Nick, that's Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, without further ado, let's jump into these Cowboys moves and then we'll dive into the analysis on the other side. First up is a tweet or post on X from Jeremy Fowler, great reporter over at ESPN. Highly recommend you give him a follow. Free agent linebacker Jack Sanborn plans to sign with the Cowboys on a one-year deal. He's reunited with Matt Eberflus and Dave Bergonzi, who coached him for 3 years in Chicago, on his way to 164 tackles, 14 for loss. Sanborn was a fan favorite in Chicago, feisty, good player. Nice addition to the Dallas Cowboys there. Let's go into our second story here. This is a report from Ian Rappaport, another tweet from him. The Cowboys are in the finishing stages of a trade for Titans linebacker Kenneth Murray Jr., formerly of Oklahoma, as the teams are swapping late round picks. So the Cowboys, in a very short order, acquired Sanborn and Murray, adding him to the linebacker position. And when you break down the analytics, these moves make a lot of sense. Isolated, it's a little confusing. Maybe what are the Cowboys doing? Maybe should they go after bigger names? When you break down the numbers, though, it just really looks good. So we're going to pull up a few charts right here. This first one is kind of comparing Jack Sanborn and Kenneth Murray. So there you have three fields on the bottom: run defense, tackling, and pass rush. Those are grades according to Pro Football Focus. You can see Jack Sanborn is solid in the run defense game. Murray is not. He's quite terrible. But Murray is really good in tackling. Sanborn's just solid. And you look at both Murray and Sanborn are decent enough in pass rush. Neither of them are spectacular, but good enough, right? So you look at these numbers and you can kind of see what's going on here. Jack Sanborn is a run stopping linebacker, right? He's put in the game to stop the run, first down, maybe second down situations. That's Sanborn's game, not Murray. He's not a run stopper at all. What is he? He is a long yardage passing down linebacker, cover a lot of ground, good tackling, maybe blitz him every once in a while too in those pass rush situations. That's who Murray is. So you can see what the Cowboys are doing here. They're trying to get basically a first down linebacker, half a second down linebacker, right? That's Sanborn right there. The other half of those second down situations, and a third down linebacker in Murray. They're basically using two guys to aggregate into one quality linebacker, but doesn't make sense. Let's go into our final chart here. And you can see this is for a median for a linebacker position among the top 90 in the NFL, according to PFF. I didn't just want to take the entire NFL. I said the top 90, right? Look at 32 teams, three linebacking starters per team. That's roughly 90 guys. So you look at the median of each of those fields: run defense, tackling, and pass rush, and compare that to the combined, the best of, right? If Sanborn's stopping the run, if Murray's tackling right on third downs, and you compare the grades, and here's what you see. You can see the median for linebacker in the NFL is a little bit better than the best of Sanborn Murray. You can see tackling, the best of Sanborn Murray is significantly better than the median in the NFL, and pass rush is noticeably better as well. So you can kind of combine that all together, and I think the data is pretty clear, is that the combination of Sanborn and Murray, Sanborn playing first down and half the second downs, Murray playing the other half of those second downs and the third downs, is literally just as good as a quality linebacker in the NFL, or maybe even a little bit better. The Cowboys needed a good linebacker. A lot of people have spent a lot of money trying to find one, right? There's been a lot of dollars flying around the free agency, but they made a really smart move here. They used the money ball approach. Instead of trying to find one star and overpaying for him, maybe having a Brandon Carr issue from a number of years ago where you give a lot of dollars to a guy who never lives up to the hype. What they did is they created a quality three down linebacker in the aggregate. Love this approach by the Cowboys. All right, Miles, that's enough from me. That's a long rant. I know you've got a few thoughts on this, but first, Cowboys fans, in the comment section below, now that you've seen this approach and you've seen the data, what are your thoughts on this combined move? I think they need to be taken together of Sanborn and Murray. Give it a grade. Do you think it's an A+ move now that you've seen the results? Do you think it's an F move? You still hate it? Or you're still kind of wait and see approach? Give it a C. Whatever it is, give us your thoughts on this acquisition. Again, the pair, the pod here, if you will, between these two guys. Put it in the comment section below. But Mize, over to you. What are your thoughts going deep dive here, Cowboys linebackers?
Yeah, Nick, I think this was a great move by the Cowboys, and we've seen this go before by multiple different teams where you don't really try to bite off the apple all at once. Sometimes replacing positions and getting better at a position in the aggregate, it works out better. It's easier, it's cheaper. You don't have to get a linebacker. that probably would be able to create the ability of both of these guys combined is going to be like 3, 4, 5 times more expensive than it was to bring in these guys in their own right. So it's a really interesting approach. I think a lot of smart teams do this. And I think it's showing that this Cowboys organization is different. They're not going out and splashy signings, making big free agent dollars. We've talked about this already, but I mean, there's just more and more evidence, more and more things coming down the pipe that they are staying consistent. They have a plan. They're sticking to it. This, again, is proof. And then another thing I really like here, when I think Cowboys linebackers, I think they're stars in the middle field. I usually think of a long injury history and, guys missing games. And knock on wood here, Sanborn has never really had any injuries. Kenneth Murray has had a few, but he really hasn't missed like an insane amount of time due to injury in his career. So they're relatively healthy guys when it comes to that, especially Sanborn. So I like that when you're in the middle of the field for Cowboys. I think Sean Lee, I think Leighton Vander Esch, they come to mind as guys that had injuries and really missed some time, and you missed them when they were gone. So hopefully these guys can stay on the field. I love that aspect as well. I just think overall, I'm really pleased with the Cowboys' approach to everything this offseason of being different than the status quo that they have done. I remember the first video we posted, or the first start of the free agency, you see the comments roll in. Well, they haven't done anything. This is ridiculous. Cowboys, same old Cowboys, not doing anything. Now you're seeing the moves come in. This was the plan all along. Slow start. Really just kind of finding the hidden gems under the radar of everything. I think it was a great decision by the Cowboys. This new staff, it really seems, we got to see the results on the field. But all you can go off of when there are no results on the field is the evidence leading to, are they following the plan? Are they sticking to it? Is everything that they're saying matching up with what they're doing? And it seems resoundingly yes so far. I really like everything they have done. It's been a very smart offseason. Sometimes smart doesn't always mean results, but here I'm loving what the Cowboys are doing. I like the moves they made. I think it's going to be a really good decision when it all is said and done.
Yeah, you bring up a great point just end on here about linebacker injuries and durability, right? And of course, there's two other linebackers, Overshown. Hopefully he comes back. He's a superstar when healthy. I'm sure he'll be fine. I hope and pray that he is, because he seems by all accounts to be an outstanding person and just a really, really good football player. And then Jalen Smith before that, right? And I'm sure I'm even missing a few guys there in my mind. So the Cowboys and linebacking and injuries has just been a debacle the past 15 years or so, which speaks to why it's better to use the aggregate approach instead of throwing all your eggs in one basket. The Cowboys are already a top-heavy roster, and they're certainly going to be even more top-heavy when Micah Parsons gets his big deal, right? And then, of course, you got Smith at left guard. He's going to get a big deal. They're going to be so top heavy with dollars concentrated basically on like 7, 8 guys. You can't be in a situation that happened in 2024 when you lose a Parsons and you lose a Diggs and you lose a Lawrence and suddenly you just have no money. You're just out of guys and you're just playing bad players or third stringers and you just get eviscerated, right? You can't have that happen. You can't be, if you're so top heavy, you can't then rely on undrafted free agents or special teams guys to then be your starters. That's a result. That's just the situation that's going to end in disaster. And that's what 2024 ended up. By taking the aggregate approach, if you have an injury, that say Murray gets hurt, hey, Sanborn is capable of playing all 3 downs. He shouldn't. That's not what he's best at, but he can do it. He's not some special teams only guy that's just thrown in there and he just has to figure it out, like we saw with a lot of Cowboys defenders last year. Smart decision making by the Cowboys. It's been the theme of the offseason so far. A lot of people are hoping for more moves and bigger moves. I think there's a lot more dominoes to fall, but these 2 moves in particular, these 2 acquisitions, great, solid decisions by the Dallas Cowboys.